HBP/IDH have come up with programs and activities to help train farmers to produce grade A quality vegetables that will be used for farm-to-market activities. I therefore invite Barnabas Apom, who is the Senior Project Manager for HBP, to present the program. Thank you for your attention.
Over a decade, the Netherlands Embassy has invested a lot in the horticulture sector in Ghana, helping people to produce right and be able to export to the European market. I think there was some year where Ghana, we were banned from even exporting. And through some of the programs that the embassy initiated, this ban was lifted. And you can look at Ghana Veg, Hortifresh. If you can Google it, you know more about the things that they have done. However, these are programs. So they are programs that the embassy starts and they have a period. So they can run for 5 years. So Ghana Veg was 5 years. Then afterwards, Hortifresh also was 5 years. And every program has an end. And anytime the program ends, the sector players are now looking out for how do we continue all the good things that we are doing in terms of meeting together, working, and actually growing. And that was a need that Ghana Netherlands Business and Culture Council, that is GNBCC, thought that we could tap into. So a brief about GNBCC. GNBCC is also a membership organization, but it is for more bigger organizations, companies. So companies like KLM, companies like Vivo Energy, they are all members of GNBCC. And GNBCC, we have over 120 companies. And we have been operating for the past decade. I mean, more than 20 years, actually. It started as GANEC, and then it moved to become a GNBCC, where we actually run other programs. So GNBCC thought that because of the experience in managing these platform groups, we can also set a similar thing for the HBP. And that was how the idea of HBP came about. And it fell on me because I was one of GNBCC staff to build this platform and to start it from scratch. So that is how GNBCC started the idea of forming the Horticulture Business Platform through a program called the PSD, which is a private sector development program, basically bringing all the sector players together. Now, it is also very important to highlight that working with GNBCC is good because it assures the partners that HBP is not just for a period. It can actually stay for a long time because the ones that are setting it up have done it. They've been in existence for more than 20 years. So they can actually build and sustain the platform. So that's the credibility that we also drive from GNBCC. So this is how the key sector players within the platform are all related. So the platform, which is known as Horticulture Business Platform, the idea is to build a paid membership platform. We know that it's not everyone who wants to be part of a paid membership platform, but we want those who will make that commitment to get some benefits whilst we work with others who are within the sector. So we are gradually building up a membership-based platform. And we have our membership subscription from just being a subscriber, where it is free, to being a partner or a founding member, which you pay 10,000 for one-time premium payment, and the higher premium is 1,000 Ghana cedis. So that is the membership that we have, because we want it to be sustainable even after the funding that we currently have. So the vision of the Horticulture Business Platform is to become a business platform that represents the interests of the sector players. So we are interested in all the players, from the farmer to the off-taker to the consumer. We want to bring everyone on board to one platform. And HBP, it was set up by a core team. So basically, before we started, we did a study across all the sector players, and then we made a call for those who are willing to sacrifice some time to help to build this platform. So we invited key people who are already within the sector, and I'm happy to say Madam Catherine, who is the board chair of HBP, was one of the people who voluntarily said she wants to be part of this because it affects the sector in which she is in. And she has been leading us from the onset up to now. I think she deserves a round of applause. The core team, there are several other players that are also involved in the core team. It's very important for me to mention the core team because they are actually the engine of the HBP. They came out with the whole concept of how to get everybody involved and running us from the onset up to now. So we have Green Label Executive Secretary will be joining us. He was also part of the core team. We have African Tiger. African Tiger was already a member of GMBCC. African Tiger is a very big organization. Most of you may not know African Tiger, but you can hear of Senchi. Senchi is one of their hotels and a lot of others. Then we also have a bouquet cuisine. We also try to encourage young entrepreneurs or businesses. And a bouquet cuisine, she's a young lady who is into processing of fruit and fruit juice and others, and creating something for herself. We also have East West Seed, which are one of the founders. And then we also have Holland Green Tech. That's one of our technical partners. And then AB Farms. So these are some of the key people who said we can take this platform together. So they are the core team, and they have been leading so far up to where we are now. Okay, so those were the people I'm mentioning. And GMBCC, which is where I am from, and also Benjamin, we more or less serve as the secretariat. Based on the experience we have from GMBCC, we try to work with the platform, with the core team, so that we come out with what we want to achieve for the sector, the members, and all the other partners. Then the key partners, as we talk about, is the Dutch Embassy, very key because the PSD was their initiative, more like they were those who funded it. And then IDH, now IDH has taken us for the next years coming. And then we also work closely with Ghana Vegetables because that was one of the initiatives that came up through the HortiFresh. And they started a lot of activities which were good, so we are still working closely with them. So these are more for the key partners. So what does HBP do? So what we do is that every year we come out with lists of activities, then we propose that to our funders, that will benefit our members, and then we execute. So last year we came out with an activity. This year we also have come out with activities for 2025, and most of the activities are centered around fruit and vegetable fairs. So we can have mini and major fruit and vegetable fairs. Those are things that we try to bring awareness to the sector. Then we're also doing sector convening and policy advocacy because our key partners, IDH, is very strong in market convening. These are some of the things that we are also looking at doing. Then support members to participate in sector events. We help our members to be able to also go to other events, and we are hoping that maybe in future we should be able to help them probably travel to other countries and be involved in fairs and other things. That will bring benefit to them. Then we're also looking at providing, we actually did provide GAPS and certification training for members. So we did GAPS training, and we are doing step-down training, and all these are trainings that we want to build the capacity of the members of the platform and then generally grow into the sector. And we're actually looking at also initiating horticulture-related programs to support the sector growth, create sector awareness, and also bring attention to the needs of the sector. And that is why we are here. So as part of the ideas that we were coming up with, we came out with this concept that says, can we come out with a program where members within the horticulture sector can enroll to be part of, where there is actually real benefits that we can measure. So that led to the Farm2Market. Initially, we call it A to Z. We were thinking of coming out with a program where we get people to go through the whole chain so that everyone will have a benefit. And today we are going to take you through our thinking and then to get your input. So the Farm2Market focuses on producers, that is the farmers, and then off-takers. And when I talk about off-takers, I'm talking about those who can buy in volumes. And we also want to engage with all other stakeholders. So the banks want to engage with you. The financial institution, the insurance want to engage with it. The training institutions want you to be part of it. The tech companies, we have Farmerline here, the certification bodies, the donor partners. We think that everyone have a role to play in this, and that is why I want to present this to you. So let me take you through the focus of the program. Now, scale is an issue, finance is an issue, but the focus of this program is more on the market. We think that if we can give someone a consistent and a continuous market, gradually they will be able to get the finances, or that will create the confidence for financial institutions to support them to be able to grow, and then also get the scale attached. So we want to focus on markets with the support of scale and finance, of course, at the back, but then with the finance, hoping that we'll build these producers to become more like small businesses with the ultimate aim of creating jobs. I think jobs is one of the core objectives of this particular program. The fairs that we do is to create sector awareness. The trading is to build the capacity. But with this program, we want to create jobs. So if you're a farmer here and we help you to set up, we want to know how many farmers or how many jobs are you creating. And I think that's relevant to us because it's also relevant to our donor support partners. So jobs. So in all this presentation, the objective is jobs. How do we use this program to create jobs? So what is the aim and objectives of the whole program? What we are saying is that we want to create a readily and reliable market access for horticulture products, leading to creation of dignified and fulfilling jobs, targeting the youth, women, and then also persons with disabilities, and our members, of course. We want to target everyone, but we want to start small. So these are the key objectives that we want to do. And we want to establish a readily available market through the off-taker agreement. So what we are saying is that we are speaking with off-takers, and they have already agreed to give an off-taker agreement. Then we use that to be able to create the demand for the producers to supply. We want to also build a pool of qualified horticulture producers, this via technical support in a controlled environment. Sometimes, if you go to the banks or you go to some of the donor partners, there is money sitting at the bank, but people are not, they find it very difficult to find the people who are qualified to be able to get these funds. So the idea of this program is, can we use this program to take someone at a very basic stage and more or less support them to become credible so that the financial institutions can take them up? That is one of the key areas. Can we build that pool so that if Zenith Bank comes to me and say, okay, I have money, can you give me your top 20 producers who are doing things right, who have existing market? Then we can probably just give them the list. That is what we are looking at doing. So profiling qualified producers for financial assistance by financial partners and insurance institutions. We are trying to bring everyone because we think everyone has a role here. And if for nothing at all, we also want it to be a collaborative platform. This is one of the first meetings where we are actually inviting specific key players. So all of you here are specific key players, and you can actually network among yourself and create some deals. So these are the objectives that we want to achieve in this program. So what are the short-term outputs? We want to enhance producer skill to produce quality products for off-takers. One of the concerns that we got from speaking with the off-takers is that they are not getting the right quality. So they are always complaining of the quality that is being produced. And if they are complaining, it means that they are not buying. And if they are not buying, it means that the producers they are producing, but they are not getting market. So how can we enhance the skill of the producers so that they can produce the grade A that off-takers want? That is one. Then we also want to improve the yield and quality of producers to gain more from small land areas by applying the right technologies. Our technical people will tell you more. They have technologies where even if you have just a small acre, you can produce more volume using the right technologies. So we are also thinking about how do we achieve this. This is the long-term goal. Want to formalize off-take agreement to provide stable access to market. I think when you start to speak with some of the producers, you just know sometimes they will produce and the market is good. Sometimes they will produce and there is gluts and they can't even sell. So would you want to just get one-time market, or if you can get a continuous market so that you can also plan and then produce right? So this is the long-term goals. The short-term goals we are trying to achieve. and in the long term to increase income for producers and off-takers. Now, we are not looking at only the producers, but also off-takers. Can we help increase their income? Because if their income is increased, it means that they will employ more people, and then they will solve the issue of jobs. Create dignified jobs in the sector is also one of our key long-term goals, and then improve on the national food security. So these are more linked to the donor partners and other key objectives. Food security is a major issue everywhere, and jobs is also a major issue. So how can we use this program to address these challenges in society? So we all know that you can create jobs, but you can also create dignified jobs. I think our donors will be able to explain much more in terms of what they classify as dignified job. But in our own lay term, there are certain jobs that are not dignified because probably they are not probably even paid well. So if you probably recruit someone and you're giving them below what even they need to even exist, even though the job may be good, but the conditions are not dignified. So the dignification of the job is more on what are the conditions. If you employ people and you are putting them in maybe hazardous environments where you are not taking consideration of their health, even make them work several hours, and all those things are what we are looking at. So how do we help you, the employer, to ensure that you are giving dignified jobs? And that can only happen if you are also making more profits. Because sometimes because you are getting less profits, you are looking at how to also cut down on a number of things that also affect the dignity of the jobs that people are doing. So we can discuss that later on, but I think it's also open for us to really clearly define what dignified. But I think a dignified job is a job where people feel that they are well treated. They feel that they are getting what is worth for their efforts. And I think that is my basic definition. All right. So KPIs, what are we going to be looking at? So we're going to be looking at certain things. Number of off-take agreements signed. So currently we have at least 3 or 4 off-takers that are willing to say that, okay, for these selected crops, we can give an off-take agreement. Now, the pilot is going to create an enabling environment for us to all try what works, what doesn't work. Can we adjust? Because you're also going to be a lot of negotiations. Okay, what price are you giving to the producers? Is it fair? Can they produce? Can they also stick to the contract that when prices are low, you can still supply them, so that when prices are also high somewhere, they can also still give you a figure so that we can all work together? Because I think a lot of the time, sometimes the off-takers can make commitment that, okay, I'll buy your goods for the next 1 year. However, the producers, sometimes when the prices change, they go outside, and those are the things that we want to be able to try and then address. Because if they be able to see the long-term goal, it helps. So a producer will know that, well, I have a 1-year contract to supply. Once the price is consistent and I stick to my plan, I can get support from maybe a financial institution because they know that you stick to your word. I think those are the things that we are trying to do here. We want to increase in production quality and then yield per plant area. So this one is the technical people. We want to see if we are starting with just say 1 acre or 1 plot, what they are currently producing now, what can you do to help them produce more with the same size? So those are the things that the technical people can give us more information about how that is feasible. And they have actually assured us that that is possible, that if you follow through the right procedures, you'll be able to achieve this. Financial support. In fact, when we were thinking about this idea, we sent out a form to people. I personally had a contact with especially the youth. Over 64 youths responded to a question. And number one issue is always what? Finance. It's everywhere. Right now, if I raise up your hand, how many of you need funds? Almost everybody will raise funds. Aha. So finance is one of the biggest issues. But sometimes it's not that the finance is not available. The finance is there, but you don't have the right, you are not ready for the money. Because even if you take the money, how you intend to do it, to work with it, is not clear for them. So that's one of the key things we also want to look at. Can we be able to help, even if it is from the off-taker side, can we convince the finance people to say, you know what, this is a credible off-taker. He is off-taking from 10 producers. Can you help him or her to increase the production so that he can off-take from more? So that gradually that help can channel to the producers so that everyone grows. I think that is if we're able to do that, we will be achieving our aim. Then we also want to look at the input dealers that are here. We are not leaving you out. If this program is set up and we have people who are producing, can you also be someone who can supply to the program? Instead of probably supplying individually, you can get a contract to say, you know what, we have this number of farmers, these are what they need, this is what we want you to supply, so that it is consistent. So those are the things that we are looking at in terms of being able to measure whether we are achieving results or not. So we want producer and off-taker satisfaction. We know that we can target different people, but we think that if we can start from here, gradually we can grow. We want to look at these two people. Can we get them to be satisfied working together? And how can we now look at scaling up? So if they can start with producers, we have 10 producers starting with, say, 1 plot, and they're doing it right, and off-takers are very happy. Can we now look at how do we help them to scale up? But if they're not doing it right with 1 acre, even if you give them 10 acres, they cannot do that. So I think that is the thing. We want to be able to assess the satisfaction level. We also want to reduce post-harvest losses. Sometimes some of the producers, they produce and then the market is not there. And sometimes the market is there, but people are using strategies to get what they want because of the prices and all that. And then we also want to increase the profitability of the off-taker. The off-taker is key in driving this whole program, because if they can off-take more, then that means that there's going to be a lot of market, and then there's going to also be a lot of producers. So those were the plans. Okay. So off-taker challenges. So from the discussion that we had, we know the off-takers have a lot of challenges, but these are the key ones that we are trying to address with this program. Inconsistent product quality. So they are saying that some of the producers are not producing the right quality for them. So we want to address that. How can the training with the technical people help address this for the off-takers? Unreliable supply chain. So today they can get this, during this season they can get this, and they are not able to plan. So how can we ensure that there is some consistency? It may not be easy, but it's something that we are working at. And then access to finance and working capital. Can we also help the off-takers, identify them, work with them with the bank so that they can increase their off-take? So these are the challenges that we intend to try to address. Then for the producers, their challenges are many. As for that one, there's plenty, right? Producers, when you speak to one, you just know that there are plenty. You can't solve them. But we think that if you can start from the market, because if someone have a consistent market and they are producing the right quality gradually over a period of time, they will be able to address all the other problems. So we want to look at limited access to consistent and reliable markets. So if we're able to help them get an off-taker contract, can they maintain that contract for a year or two? And what is the profit that is going to bring to them? So that is what we want to address for the producers. Price volatility. Sometimes they get good price, sometimes it doesn't work. But we think that if they work with the off-taker, they will be able to negotiate prices maybe quarterly. Instead of just doing it every month, they can negotiate a price quarterly. Okay, quarterly, let's peg it here based on the market prices so that everyone gets some benefits. I think sometimes it gets to a certain point where the producers are not able to negotiate. Because if you produce your goods and you come to me and I'm the only option, then I can give you whatever price I need. So that also becomes very difficult for the sector. So if you can have a very stable price where the producers are comfortable giving to the off-taker, and the off-taker also makes certain profits, I think that will be something that we'll be looking at. So we also want to help them assess finance. I'm sure some of the producers are here. If they start telling you about their stories, you will know that they are not ready for funds. Because maybe they are not keeping books, maybe because they are not doing it as a business. They are probably just doing it because their fathers started it and now they're also doing something. But we want to see, can we help them assess funds? How are we going to achieve that? It's a big hurdle, but access to quality input for production. access to input is a major problem for the producers. How are we going to do that? Can this program help? In what way? Insufficient technical knowledge when it comes to the sector. The technical people will tell you there's a lot that they need to learn. How can we help them? That is the program objective. And then limited access to new technologies. We think that there are new technologies that are available. How do we help these producers to get this? And if we can tackle this problem one after the other, I'm sure gradually we'll be creating the kind of pool of producers that are more like attractive for the financial institutions or the funders. All right. So what is the approach? This is what we are thinking about, and we want your input in. It's not cast in stone. We are thinking that if we are able to establish offtake agreement to secure market for the producers, that's the first one. So we have at least 3 or 4 off-takers that are willing. We want to start with some selected crops, which they are willing to do that. They want to train the farmers on best practices. So we are outsourcing that to a technical institution, Holland Green Tech. They've done that a lot of times. But can they help these farmers who are already producing to do that? Then we want to facilitate stakeholder collaboration through structured platform to support these off-takers and producers with access to finance, input, and all other technical expertise to expand their operations. So once we have established this relationship, we want to create a common platform so that these people can engage and interact and then expand their activities. And then we also want to encourage, track, and then celebrate jobs created through the program for producers, off-takers, and all the other stakeholders. So since job is our key area, we want to look at how can we track whatever is going on here. Right now, if I ask all the producers, we can know how many employees do they have. And maybe after a year or 2 years in the program, if we can solve all their problems, that is, if you can solve all their problems, how many jobs are they going to be created? I think that's something that we can track, so that we can track and see how we make impact in that. So this is the strategy we want. We have already spoken with the off-takers. We think that we need to start somewhere. Someone may think that we should add other things. We know some of our donor partners, they have some specific crops that they want us to add. But we say, yes, we will. But for now, we want to look at what can we buy now, even if it is just in a small bit, so that we can get the wheel moving, so that the financiers will start to look and say, oh, this is interesting. Let me see more, So they came out with these 3 crops that if you can produce it today for the off-takers, they are willing to take it. So Medi cucumber is one, lettuce is one, and habanero pepper. Now, we're also thinking that we want to start with this because the period for production is very, very short. Within how many months? 6 weeks. Within 6 weeks, we are done with the first cycle. So we can know whether it will go or it will not even go. So if you have 10 farmers and you set them up to just produce this, within 6 weeks, we know our results. We will know whether they can off-take it or they cannot off-take it, what are the challenges, and we can address and then amend and then move on. We don't want to start something that takes a long time. Habanero takes some time, but we're thinking that it's possible. If someone is doing this, we can still also use part of it to see. We can give maybe to 1 or 2 more farmers, and we see how it goes. So this is the whole idea. When it comes to the expansion, we can increase the crops. If it is working well, there's nothing wrong with increasing more crops. And then the off-takers, we can add more off-takers. We can even get formalized some of the markets, people who go out. And I think this is where probably we need the help of IDH. IDH, last year we did convening. We brought all the market women across Ghana. We did it in Accra, we went to Tamale, and we discussed what are the issues. If they tell you the quantity of vegetables they import, it will marvel you. But they are saying they have challenges. Some of the challenges is that, the production is not quality. It's a major one. Some of the challenges is that you are scattered all over. Some are in this region, so it is very difficult for them to move around. They want to just go to Burkina and just stay at one place and get all their goods and come. So those are the challenges, and they are real challenges. So if we can also get them as some of the off-takers, so you know that you are producing, but they will come through this program and off-take the volumes for you, so that we can help them address. I think IDH is also working something around that, where we produce maybe within one location, or maybe within cluster of locations, so that it's very easy for them to also pick. So that gradually we can be also tapping into the market. And then also producers. We are starting with few ones. Depending on our capacity, we are thinking of starting with 10, but then if you do the math and we think that it is much more less, maybe we can start with few, or if you can also get support to add, but we want to test the program, and if it works, we want to be able to increase that so that people can enroll into the program. All right. So I think I've been speaking for quite some time, giving you the whole concept. So this is the whole thinking. Please, this is time for you to ask questions for clarification on the concept. Let's focus on the concept. We'll go to other areas. The whole thinking. Are there areas that probably we should look at? What can you add to what we are thinking about doing? And as I indicated, for HBP, this is just like the first kind of program that we want to bring to the benefit of the sector. So we are open for questions and for clarifications.